What's up, home theater fans? We're at CEDIA 2025. I'm hanging out with my good friend Nick Brown of SVS. Nick, how's it going?
And the show has been crazy. We're just one day in, and I feel like so much has been accomplished already.
Yeah, you guys are having a good show. That's exciting. It looks like the crowd's good here, so that's exciting for everybody.
Yeah, Godzilla is in the background here, lighting some people on fire, so that's always fun.
I was looking for your booth. I think it's 1357
37.
1337. And I just had to follow the sound. It's the booming sound of bass.
There's tremors, and you just follow where that, that gravitational pull just gets to you with the sound pressure level. So try to have fun with that.
That's cool. So we're gonna just take a little mosey around SVS's plot of land here and check out all of their products that they have out in static display, because they're really pretty. I'd like to look at them with you, and we're just going to have a chat about them as we go along and see what we can dig up.
That sounds great to me, Todd. Let's do it. We design our own booth. A lot of vendors here will use like a custom booth building company. So we try to have a vision when we come into it, and this year was sort of to create a museum feel and showcase some of the technology by having like a cutaway subwoofer here, which showcases the size of the motor, the internal workings of the driver, the amplifier plate and things like that, because one, it's great for clickbait. People come here and take pictures, but also it allows us to be able to walk through the different technologies within the platform of the 17 Ultra Revolution, which is kind of a cool thing.
Look at the magnet.
This thing's a beast. I mean, it's about 60 pounds of just magnets in and of itself. So, when you're trying to move that much air, I think it helps people visualize, the sonic impact that you're getting from our demo, which is actually running 2 of these, to see the inner workings and how it all is laid out.
When these products are in development, do you all get samples into your office to play around with and see and test where you're located?
That's part of our secret sauce is not only, our design team is doing it in, completely acoustically inert environments like an anechoic chamber, but they're sending the units to our customer service members who are able to test them in a lot of real world living situations, basements, small living rooms, bedrooms, things like that. So we're able to get that sort of artistic element of voicing a speaker or creating a subwoofer, because it can only go so far in an anechoic environment, but you need to test it in real world environments. So I have not had one of these. My house cannot handle it, but I did get the new 5000 Revolution series to test, and I can say I'm very happy with the upgrade I've made there.
Well, what's it like when these things are in development? I mean, you have an idea of what they might be. I mean, because this thing is it's gorgeous, right? And you know that you're going to have a lot of customers getting their hands on them, but just for you, as a fan of audio, do you get excited when you see this stuff rolling in? Or, I mean, is it like Christmas morning?
It's like arguably one of my favorite parts of what I do for a living, because ultimately all of this is about the fun. It's about the content. And I know you talk to this about, with your audience all the time, is, crossing that threshold between like being a gearhead, but also like finding those moments where you're like, I've heard this content a million times, but it never sounded like this. And so when I bring these products in, and this thing can extend lower than any subwoofer that I've ever had, and the 5000 Revolution as well, I'm rewatching this content and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I gotta go back and watch everything. And so it is that very much that kid in a candy store kind of moment where it's like, I can totally experience things that I've, seen or heard a million times and get a different vibe from it. And not only that, feel like I'm part of actually the DNA of our product development.
Oh, for
which
sure.
I think makes you feel more ingrained into the company as a whole and buy into what we're really doing.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, look at what you guys are giving birth to. Over here, we've got this Substack, and if anybody had been watching some of the walkthroughs I've done, you saw this yesterday. The last walkthrough I did last night, about 15 hours before showtime, I came through. And you guys were all set up. We actually peeked into your room. Hope you don't mind.
No.
Nobody was here. I was hoping you or Larry was going to be in there just getting ready to, test some demo scenes out or something, but nobody was here. But this is just so cool. I mean, see all of your products stacked up like this.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple different reasons why we do this. One, it allows us to show the difference in the cabinet size between the same series of ported and sealed models, so you can get an understanding of how it will integrate into your living space. And then also, like, you go up from the Micro, our most compact subwoofer, down to the PB17 Ultra. One of the most frequent questions we get is like, I know I need a sub. My room is this big, which one's the right one for me? And there is no right answer. It's a matter of like, well, what kind of listening preferences do you have as far as like moderate volumes? Are you playing reference? Are you playing you know, rom-coms or you listen to action movies. And
right.
These are qualifiers that help us determine that. But when we have partners who come through here, and a lot, while this is the CEDIA Expo and all these people are trained AV integrators, some of them aren't as up to speed on subwoofer, difference between ported and sealed, what's right for what size room. So it really creates a conversation starter beyond just the spectacle of 8, feet of bass in front of you.
One of the things I love about this though, Nick, is you guys have come so far in the physical design of your products and the cohesiveness that you have throughout your lines, because SVS has always been known for really consumer-friendly pricing and excellent bass output, right? With this push that you guys have had, in my head, it's been probably 5 years, but I'm sure it's been more like 10. I mean, you can see it right here. There is DNA from all, for all of these products bleeding all the way down, or all the way up, you could say, from your most expensive, most powerful, all the way up to your micro.
And I think part of that, and I don't say that SVS is going to take full credit for this, but even 10 years ago, like you were saying, there was sort of a stigma in the 2-channel hi-fi community about like, well, I would never get a subwoofer. It's not going to blend with my speakers. It's not going to be able to render those low frequencies with the same transient response, the ability to really, convey what the artist or musician intended. And especially with our sealed cabinet subwoofers, we've stepped up that game quite a bit. So, even with an electrostat or a magnet planar speaker, these things are going to be so crisp, so quick in their ability to stop and start on a dime that they're only going to blend. You're not even going to know you're listening to a subwoofer. It's just going to sound like an extension of your speaker. Yeah. And to us, that has been so gratifying because that's a huge market. The 2-channel community, it's something that I think is more easily embraced by a younger demographic and folks who are just getting into this hobby. They don't have to wire 5, surround sound speakers, get dual subs, put up acoustic treatments. They can start with a pair of bookshelves and a sub, and that's the beginning of their journey. And so by having the sealed cabinet designs and having, products that are priced a little bit more attainably, it has allowed us to grow this hobby in a way that I think really needs to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, to your point with 2-channel, a lot of those systems are out in media rooms, living rooms, places where you want to show off something that's really pretty.
Absolutely.
And you guys got it going on.
There's there's certainly a space for Bluetooth speakers and little mono speakers to exist, and but if you've actually had a real 2-channel system and experienced rock solid imaging and a soundstage that can create and sort of that picking sounds out of space, it's a special experience, and people again get that feeling of like, I've never heard this song this way before, and that's really something that I think will grow this hobby and make it even more attainable.
Is the white finish something that you guys want to do, but there's not enough of a market for, or is it something you just do for very specific products and you just kind of leave it at that?
So it is huge in Europe. We have to offer more SKUs in white gloss in Europe.
Yeah.
And we find that, there are certain actually regions within the US, you can imagine LA, Miami, they really like the white gloss speakers. So they tend to favor our more compact speakers like that. Nobody's going to want, not nobody, but very few people will want a subwoofer that large in white gloss because they're putting it in a home theater. The reflections can be a little bit tough. You turn the lights down, you don't really need it to shine. But something like our micro with a pair of bookshelf speakers, that can be a great lifestyle friendly, high spousal acceptance factor, to allow it to fit the design aesthetic of your home, living space, which, we'll start trickling it down to some other SKUs, but right now it's mostly our compact subwoofers and our bookshelf speakers, although our entire new Ultra Evolution speaker line has the white gloss as well.
Yeah, speaking of that, let's take a peek at some of these beauties here. Looks like Gary's
holding court over there.
Gary's holding court. We can stand off to the side. I mean, you have your new elevation speakers.
Yeah, I know you've got some experience with those.
Yes, yeah, I have 8 elevation speakers in my home theater room.
That'll do it.
The smaller ones, but they sound fantastic to me.
Yeah.
So what's different with this new guy here?
So these are actually one of our most popular speakers. They get blended with all different brands. It's a very neutral speaker. It's got the diamond coated aluminum dome tweeter, so the breakup frequency now extends up to about 40,000 hertz, which is beyond even the threshold of human hearing.
Yeah.
And this gives you the ability to render those highs with really pristine, airy, like effervescence. And it uses the same mounting bracket as well, so you can actually mount it with the same bracket as we have the prime elevation, greater dynamic output, little deeper low frequency extension. So it's it's really been a for something that started on a cocktail napkin as like, we don't want to do the ceiling mounts Atmos thing, like what can we do to make it easily mountable on a wall or a ceiling, the bracket really helped us do that. And with the angled front baffle, it just gives a lot
the
of
bracket's
flexibility.
fantastic. Super easy to use.
That's it. You know, you don't wanna
Especially when you're in a
overcomplicate
dark
this.
room with your arms up over your head.
Yeah.
Trust me, I've done it 8 times.
You don't want to overcomplicate it. When
No,
it comes to
you
that.
do
want
not.
it to be secure. You got 8 pounds of, you know, lacquer MDF over your head. Let it be there securely.
Exactly.
And then you can see our center channel nano bookshelf.
And these have that time alignment design that you
Correct.
guys really artfully introduced with your larger speakers over here.
Yeah, that was something that, you know what, we had the Ultra Towers. It was sort of a very unique trapezoidal design. They had
Yeah.
dual 8-inch woofers on the bottom. And I think the biggest issue with those is they could be a little finicky in terms of your room placement.
Mhm.
So now we have a more traditional cabinet in the sense that, you know, it's the same width all the way from top to bottom. You have 2 woofers in the front and 2 woofers in the back with the time alignment. And this allows you to have just absolutely really authoritative low frequencies. I mean, down to about 22 hertz.
Yeah,
With
that's
the
awesome.
pinnacle there.
That's
Arguably,
awesome.
there was a speaker out there that you don't need a subwoofer. It's probably sacrilege for me to say. You're looking at it right now. But I'm certainly going to dissuade anyone from a subwoofer. But I would say this is about as capable as it gets in terms of low frequency extension and output.
Well, let me just jump in here. You could have this for your 2-channel, but then switch over to using a sub with that when you're watching movies.
I like the way you think, Todd.
So there you go.
That
That's
is a great solution.
That's the answer. So you were saying the old Pinnacle, a little finicky with room placement. Are you talking about proximity to room boundaries because it's
Yeah.
firing?
Yep, and then
to the sides.
more the sidewalls. These still like about 8 inches to a foot off the back wall if you can do it, because they do have rear ports.
Uh-huh.
But again, the side firing woofers that we had in the original Ultra Tower, again, if you had boundaries that were on either side of it, you could get a little bit of bloom, we called it,
Right.
in terms of low frequencies. But these are much more forgiving as that. You
get a
actually
little
have
boost.
some, a little
Yeah.
clearance away from the wall because the back of the cabinet is angled as well. So it actually builds in a little bit of separation from whatever back wall if you have it placed near it.
It's weird to say this, but they actually look really nice on the back side.
I know.
It's almost a shame to
They got
to hide that.
I know. It's they look good from both sides.
And you
And
really dressed them up. And you have these nice binding posts. I mean, the drivers look nice. It almost looks like the front side of a speaker.
almost. And you know, I think one of the greatest compliments I've heard at one of these shows is that, you know, they're addictive. Like, you start listening to them and they just draw you into whatever content you're in.
Uh-huh.
And I think all the technology that we put into it, it's great to talk about specs, and it's great to talk about, you know, the integration of drivers and the crossover and the, you know, cabinet architecture. But when it comes down to it, like, how does it look in your room and how does it make you feel? And I feel like this is taking us to a place that the original Ultra Series never did.
Mhm.
And I think that's what we're most proud of with these. And, you know, I was saying it earlier with the sealed cabinet subwoofers, they've given us true validation in the audiophile community, that 2-channel crowd, which is
Yeah.
so much more discerning.
Oh, yeah.
Home theater crowd in terms of what they need to check off on their checklist, even from a visual design perspective. And things like our magnetic grill covers, like, that's something that people want. They don't want to see the little grommets on the front of the cabinet. And that was an important thing for us here to really have a high-end looking performing solution.
Yeah, and standing back here, I'm actually noticing for the first time the radius on the corners here pretty much matches. I mean, it might be the exact same, I'm not sure, but it's pretty darn close. I mean, you do have a nice flow between your product categories.
Gives them a little less of that boxy feel, I think, and it helps
Yeah.
it kind of feel more modern
Mhm.
and fit within that lifestyle scenario where, you know, maybe it's not turning all the lights out. You want to put them on display. People are proud to show these off, and it's not like, I need to have all invisible speakers. And that was a big objective for us when we designed these new lines.
Yeah. I think that would be my one comment about the Pinnacle series, and I had them in my home, was they were maybe a little boxy.
Yeah.
And these are a little more flowing.
Less conventional, but not so like avant-garde that it's like weird, you know?
Yeah.
It's just that right amount of style that I think takes them to that high-end looking level.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, listen, Nick, I know you're busy today, and here, let me face the camera towards you. Maybe I can hop in. Really appreciate you taking some time to walk around and have a chat about all of your amazing products here. And I know you guys have a really busy show ahead of you, I'm sure.
It's been crazy. We've gotten a lot of phenomenal activity here from people who are just discovering our speakers for the first time. I mean, we're still in this space a lot of times viewed as a subwoofer company. And we're opening a lot of eyes and ears with the demos that we got, which you can probably hear in the background.
Oh, yeah.
So I love what you guys are doing for the community as well. It just elevates everything that we do. So
Yeah, we love the partnership that we've developed with you guys. So
Awesome.
It's fantastic. Thanks so
you, Todd.
much.
Happy listening, everyone out there.
Yeah, and everybody out there, we've got a lot of coverage coming from the show floor, so subscribe to our YouTube channel, but also definitely become a member of our home theater forum community over at avnirvana.com.